So before I recorded this, I went to a kolache place that's close by to me. Um, they have like a bunch of different flavors and shit, and I got the Texas barbecue brisket one. That one, good shit. Um, Forgive me if I'm like looking around a lot. I don't know if you noticed that in the last one, but I was like, it's because I'm gonna be real with you. I cannot look at my face for too long, so I just kind of have to like trail off. So trigger warning, my face for the rest of the video. Sorry about that. Again, can't control it. Um, so in the last one, I was talking about connections and how I never feel like I have a genuine thing with other people, and that I can never really gauge whether or not like somebody actually wants me around, right? And this one is kind of an extension from that. So we had a couple of my coworkers had like a little get together. Wasn't like a big thing. We would just went to someone's house and we watched movies and got a little drunk, and it was fine. Um, it was fun for the most part. I liked being able to just sort of go chill with them and like talk. It wasn't that big of a deal. We just sort of talked and drank the whole time. Um, but at first, well, when I first got there, they were already like sort of fucked up, and I didn't really have much to say. They were just sort of like talking about like whatever was going on. Whenever other people are like talking about stuff, I usually don't try to insert myself unless I have something that I'm able to relate to, right? I had this when I was eating. I got a stain on my shirt. Now it's like worse because I tried to wipe it off, which is so cool. Anyway, so it usually takes me a minute before like I'm able to like legit engage with people. The best way that I usually do it at work, if I'm working, I'm like completely different. I feel, because I don't care as much, because like it's just a job. There like isn't really anything that like matters really, like just small talk and shit. So I just like break the ice by just saying like sort of some dumb jokes, or just like something corny, or just like a random question that pops into my mind, and I usually like go around and ask people like, would you rather, like blah 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 blah. But if it's like a different social situation where I'm just like, there's something more, I don't know if meaningful is the right word, but you kind of get what I mean. Um, I usually just sort of stick to myself for a little bit, right? To where I don't really engage unless I know for sure that I can add something to a conversation, right? Already, just saying this out loud really feels like I overthink these types of things, and that could be a big issue, but still, I don't like just kind of always being corny and always joking around and just like doing weird shit when I'm in the presence of just like people when they're just trying to relax, you know what I mean? At work it feels different because like everyone there just kind of like it's a fucking job or whatever, so it's a way to sort of ease that, right? Where like, okay, yeah, this all sucks, we have to like just get through this, so like my thing is to just like have some fun in it, make some sort of light out of it, right? Does that make sense? But if I'm like with people, I can't really do that same thing, because we're already just vibing, and there doesn't really need ice, or the ice doesn't really need to be broken at that point. So it's just like, at some point, you just have enough of it, right? So anyway, I get there, and I'm not really saying much to begin with. We start drinking, and whenever I get fucked up, I like I disassociate a lot. Uh, Not, well, it depends, but that night I was disassociating because I wasn't saying much to begin with, and I didn't really feel I had anything to add. And then I started drinking, and that's like whenever I feel like more dumb and shit. So I just tried to stick to myself more, but that caused me to just like really not be there in the moment, right? Um, what brought me back was one of them brought hot cocoa, and I didn't know they were bringing hot cocoa, but it was really cute. They had like, they made packs for everybody. She like wrote our names on all of them, and like each of them had like chocolate that had fucking like Lucky Charms built in, and she was like, okay, yeah, we got marshmallows, but I also brought some more if you want some, so I'm just gonna make some cocoa over here. And that was really nice, and I got like legit happy because of that. So that like cheered me up a little bit. It was just a small moment, but that like brought me back into like some sort of conversation, you know what I mean? But as the night went on, I like kept going in and out of it, right? Where like I would engage with certain conversation. Everybody else was sort of talking the whole time, but I was just kind of there. And the more it kept happening, the more I kept thinking about it. And the more I keep thinking about it, the worse it gets, because I keep getting in my head and I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of here, I'm not saying much. God, I am still here, I am still not saying much. They're probably like thinking about something in some type of way, and it just gets bad. And I was like one of the last people to leave, and I got it went from being disassociated to just straight up being depressed, that I couldn't really think of much to say, and I really wasn't there. And that depression turns into guilt for me, because everybody else was having fun, really, except for me in that moment, and that doesn't feel fair to them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just like, for the rest of the time, I just sort of like sat back, was listening to them talk. They kept trying to like bring me back in, and was just like, you need to be on our level, take the shot or whatever, and I did. But I don't know. This happens a lot, to where if I'm like in a group with people and I don't feel like I belong there, it just makes me feel worse. And I have a harder time getting out of those kinds of situations, because I never have like a good excuse to really like take myself out of it, if that makes sense. But no, it just like, I felt really bad just for being there. And I don't know, like, I don't know what I can do to really pull myself back and to just sort of like be myself in the situations where I'm literally just supposed to be myself, you know? And then this was like unrelated. I know this isn't like a big deal, but it just kind of like, someone tweeted a picture of like all of them, but it was a picture from before I got there. So they were just like, oh yeah, hanging out with people, and like I just wasn't there, and that just sort of added it, like it added more onto it, that I already felt like I really shouldn't be here. I really didn't belong here, and that just kind of like solidified that. I'm not big into pictures anyway, but it just kind of sucked. It bummed me out a little bit. Again, I know it's like not a big deal. It's fucking Twitter, but still. But yeah. I don't know what to do, because me trying to like reaffirm myself, I know this is like kind of a common thing with people, and the way that they get over it is just basically like fake it till you make it, because everybody, I feel like deep down, is some sort of insecure about something. But for me, I feel like trying to like bring myself some security just doesn't work. A lot of people do like self-affirmations or whatever, to where they just like have to remind themselves that like they're there for a reason, like people want you there, etc., etc. And I just can't do that, because it really just does feel like I'm lying to myself, and I just hate needing to do that in any sort of situations. I don't think I'm a great liar. Well, I don't know, but I know I can't lie to myself like that, and there's not really a way for me to work past that. So it's all about sort of convincing myself of something I just can't believe. And it's a lose-lose either way, right? Because I want to, like, I do want to go hang out with people. I don't want to just, like, stay in my room all day and, like, fucking isolate myself. That doesn't help anything. But I feel like if I feel like I'm not going to be there in the moment, I shouldn't put them in that situation to where they just sort of have to deal with me being down on myself. And again, that's not fair to them. They're having fun. They invited me because they wanted me there for whatever the fuck reason. But that wasn't good. But again, it's a lose-lose. I either isolate myself or I don't, and I feel bad. Feel bad if I isolate, feel bad if I don't. So, yeah. Don't have much else to say. That just kind of. It was fun, but it still bummed me out a lot. I want to keep trying to just hang out with people, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Alright, yeah, that's it. See ya.